Good morning, everyone. We're at having the Sunday session with Roy Masters, and Roy has an interesting topic today. He wants to discuss something that is in national news right now, but it's something that really applies to everyone's life in some way. And there's a deeper meaning for you as well as for the ones he wants to talk about.
John McCain is a noble human being, a magnificent person, a magnificent American that all of us should be. But look what has happened to him. Now he's dying from cancer. Yes, he's not going to make it. And if he does, there won't be much of him. But I know how to overcome all that. Everybody knows, everybody who is old enough to know what happened to him. He crashed in Vietnam, and he was in prison 5 years and tortured horribly. Now, what happened to him would happen to you if I just upset you. The whole idea of torture, especially to our soldiers who are trained to resist giving themselves to the enemy. It is almost impossible if you have five years of torture, horrible torture, mental, emotional, physical. What you see of him now as a senator, John McCain, is 1/4 of what he was. And he's done the best he could, but he doesn't realize what kind of change has taken place in him. You can see that he's a changed man. And he cannot help the change. And the change has made him, excuse the expression, to some degree an appeaser. He is not strong, and he doesn't see it. Do you understand that?
Because he was traumatized by resisting the enemy when he was a young man.
Trying to resist.
He tried to resist then, but somehow they got into him, so that now he's, instead of resisting, he's sort of conforming to.
He has become, how did you say it?
He's conforming to the enemy.
Conforming, that was the word I was looking for. He is conforming, and he may be aware of it, but cannot stop it. Cannot. He's not the same person because he's a soldier. He has been trained. He's understood. It's understood that when he's captured, the enemy is going to squeeze it, and he has to resist because he'd feel ashamed. But 5 years, and because he's so well known, they pressed it on him harder and harder. And he resisted, but the resisting was actually a cause of the problem.
That's right.
Was a strong fighter pilot, and he was famous for his ability. But if you look at him now, it's not the same person. No. The behavior, as good as it is, does not cure you, because the behavior isn't perfect. It has to do with a change of ownership. In other words, the world owns you, and you're the extension of the world. As you come into the world comes into you, and you don't know what's happened to you. John McCain has been programmed. And I can tell you he's an appeaser. And he's a nice man, but he isn't John McCain. And you can see it. You can see that he wants to be a good person. He is a good person. I think he is a noble person, but broken. And nobody can fix him. But the broken part, now I'm coming to what the brokenness is. He is giving his life. He gave his life to the enemy, and he doesn't see it. He wants to be a good person. He was strong, powerful.
What his mistake is, tell me if I'm wrong, his mistake is
I don't
that
like
now when he wants to be strong, he reaches for the old strength he had as a young man, and he's got trauma with that. And so he, instead of being strong with this anger energy, he becomes weak with complying, and he goes along to avoid the pain of the conflict.
There's so many things in behaviors, and the behavior that Senator McCain, the behavior, I'm talking about behavior. I know what he's going through. I know he's suffering. And I know he's struggling to be a better person. But he tends to be halfway between two things, like we often are. And he's in conflict. But the conflict is the struggle he has to be as much of an American as he can be. Mm. What happened to John McCain, senator, correct, senator, is happening to everybody in this audience. None of them are themselves. That will kill you. You're programmed.